right, hello everyone. Today we're starting a special new series of Meet the Coaches, and I could not be more excited to start us off with the first ever champion of the W&W Pokemon Draft League, Alex Lynn, coach of the Jersey City Jirachi. Alex, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good, sir. How are you doing, Mr.
Doing
Mark?
all right. Uh, so, just to start things off, this is the opportunity for everybody to get to know some of the coaches in the league. And I want to start us off with some of your background in Pokemon. So, I want to know, what was your first Pokemon game and which starter did you take in your first ever run?
It was either Torchic, and I remember that because I didn't know anything about the evolution at the time. So whenever I got Blaziken, I was like, "This looks whack, cool."
So, I think I cut out, but that was the Hoenn Gen 3 was your
Oh,
first
in
game?
Gen 3, yeah, and I
Yup.
picked Torchic as my starter.
I mean, to be fair, what an adorable little chicken. Um,
Exactly.
So, was that your favorite generation of Pokemon, or do you have a different favorite?
So my favorite generation is actually Gen 4,
Okay. Any
only
particular reason
because
why?
most of my favorite Pokemon come from Gen 4. That's the biggest reason, I would say.
Do you what would you say is your favorite Gen 4 Pokemon?
Definitely Garchomp.
I
100% Garchomp.
I believe that the draft league stats would back that up. So, going into talking about you having drafted Garchomp like 70,000 times, as an
Yeah.
OG4 member, you have been around for all 10 seasons of the league. And
Yeah.
throughout that, you've used at least 13 Pokemon a season. If you had to
Yeah.
pick a top three favorites that you have ever used in the draft league, what would they be?
All right. Definitely have to go with my Vaporeon just because that thing was a monster.
Yo,
Um, I love Garchomp and I love using it. It never performs well, but I just like using him.
yeah,
That's is just there. And my last one, I would have to say my Sylveon in season 10, just because it put in so much work.
it was an absolute monster, for sure. That lived so many things it wasn't supposed to. And to go to
Yeah.
the Vaporeon point, I think that actually, I was updating the record documents recently, and that is the most drafted by a single player Pokemon in the draft league is you and
There we
Vaporeon
go.
have the longest
There we go.
history. So you finally ran away with it in season 10 because I did not pick up Salazzle to keep the tie going. Uh, so, we talked about your favorite Pokemon, but do you have like a specific favorite memory in the draft league of just like a particular moment or a game or a particular Pokemon that you used or anything like that?
It would definitely have to be like my the very first season, the finals match versus me and West Texas Wingles. Only because I took physically I had to like move myself to Holly's place and got to like set up with his Twitch stream and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun because I got to see him. Haven't seen him in a while, and you know, first ever finals match. I didn't think I was gonna get that far,
Yeah.
but we won all due to albeit luck, strategy. I don't even know what to call it at that point, but that was a very memorable moment in draft league history for me.
I just like a memorable moment in the draft league history, kind of period. All right, the first
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
championship. Pokemon that we hadn't seen all season, and Doughblade showing up and being a big deal.
Uh
Just goofy Dynamaxes out of both of y'all. It was
huh.
an absolute treat. I wish we had the VOD for the YouTube, but none of us had the presence of mind to even think we'd still be playing this that long. But
Right.
So we talked a little bit about Sylveon being a big thing in your season 10 roster. What were your thoughts on specifically terrestrialization in season 10?
So I definitely utilized terrestrialization heavily just for defensive measures, I guess, in season 10, just because my ideology when it comes to coaching is the best defense or good offense is the best. So if I could have my Pokemon take hits just through typing, then it would easily just allow me to keep going with my playstyle. So I liked it only to further enhance my own playstyle, if that made sense.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I specifically remember in our matchup the Haxorus having, I think it was the dark Terra typing, which
Yes,
made it
yeah.
wasn't ready to have to deal with that. I had thought about Umbreon, but I was like, I feel like I can just chip through that, but I didn't think about actually having to deal with the dark Haxorus. So that was a fun layer. Uh, do you have a favorite Gen 9 Pokemon?
If your answer is not Tinkaton, you're wrong.
Fair enough. Uh, so you didn't get to use Tinkaton this season. Is Tinkaton a Pokemon that you're excited to maybe use in the draft league in the future, or are there other Gen 9 Pokemon that you just are looking forward to maybe getting to use later?
So, oddly enough, I really want to use low kicks.
Interesting.
Right. It's like something about it just seems cool. I'm wondering like how I can use them into the draft league at some point.
I
I
like
don't know.
that.
It's a cool little bug. It's a cool little bug boy.
Yeah, bugs have been on the uptick in the past few seasons. Season 10
Yeah,
we took a little
exactly.
break from it, but the bug types have been rising, and I will say that I did make a level 100 raid Lokix for the Iron Leaves raids. So,
Ah, yeah,
definitely agree there's some potential there, but I look forward to seeing you try that out.
yeah.
Um, and speaking of trying things out, throughout season 10, had a bit of a rough start, did the Jersey City Jirachi, but towards the end, you just kind of went on a bit of a tear, picking up, I think it was, what, 3 out of your last 5 games?
Something
Um,
like that.
so, was it something that finally clicked with the roster? Was it something that you just kind of figured out play style wise, or what do you attribute that to?
I think it just came down more to like finally understanding everyone's teams, like kind of getting in the groove of things. You know, whenever you play bowling, your first couple of shots are just like absolute crap, and
Yeah.
then while you get like into it, I think that was like me, where first couple games I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of getting used to it, like kind of testing the waters, and then after seeing everyone's teams more and more, kind of understanding like who they like bringing, who they like prefer to bring against me. I think that's when I realized, okay, I can kind of play around the terrestrialization mechanic and see what better fits my Pokemon.
Love to hear it. Uh, so, one last insight, and I think this is probably going to be the hardest question I'm going to ask you today. What was your favorite draft league team that you ever had?
I mean, at this point, they're all the same, no?
You do have a lot of redrafts.
So I guess based on that logic, it had to be my very first team because a lot of my teams are redrafts, if you
Yeah.
will. But yeah, I mean, like my very first team. So the way I play the draft league is very much I pick Pokemon that I like,
Yeah.
and I don't really care about meta. Like if I like the Pokemon, I'm picking it. That's all it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, I think my very first team very much so like idealizes that team. I just picked all the evolutions and I love evolutions. So
Yeah.
my very first team would have to be my favorite team of all the draft league.
And I mean, there's some absolute stunners on the team, right? Like the Rillaboom has been a
Rillaboom,
staple of the
always good.
draft league.
Mm-hmm.
Ludicolo, a Pokemon that I took an affinity to in the later
Yeah,
stages. The Pelipper, the another JCJ
Pelipper.
staple that we've seen a whole bunch
He's
of times. There was the Emolga. I still hate that rat.
mm-hmm.
And we were
I
talking a
evolved. I
little.
got Pachirisu now.
There you go. And not to mention the Doughblade that we talked about making its first like
Exactly.
legit appearance in the final. So
Mm-hmm.
super good team. Lots of memorable stuff coming out of that one. Love to
Yeah.
hear it. Well, thank you for taking the time out to come do this interview with me.
Anytime. Yeah.
Uh, Thank
This
you.
is enjoyable.
Glad to hear it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this, look forward to episode 2 coming out soon. And one more time, thank you to Alex Lamb. I am Chris Moriarty Marks, and we will catch you in the next one.
See ya.